Hello, this is Roy Ivy, and this is Sci-Fi History. We're going to be taking a special look at my beginnings in Star Trek fan films, with a special emphasis on Michael Sylvester and Star Trek Stormfront. Join me, won't you? Hello and welcome to this special edition of Sci-Fi History, Changing Times in Time, with a special emphasis on Michael Sylvester. I probably would have done this episode at some point, but due to the events of last week, I suppose there's no way to say it, that my friend Michael Sylvester has passed away. My co-star from Stormfront. Unfortunately, yet again, it was from COVID-19. Michael was a very special person, and he had a lot of energy, and a lot of people miss him, and a lot of people in the Star Trek fan community will miss him. And this is my small tribute to the man and how he helped me in my beginnings in Star Trek fan films. Now, many of you know me as Admiral Vanden Boss. And this, as much as anything, is the story as how that came about. Now, Star Trek Melbourne Stormfront was a creation of Jeremy Solo Menard and Vance Major Owen. The film was shot at the original Starbase Studios in Oklahoma. The bridge set was inherited from Starship Exeter, which had made their film some years ago and had been in storage, and then were gifted later to Starbase Studios to be made available for fan films. Other films were also being made there at the time. Starship Ajax, Starship Valiant, Starship Republic, and perhaps a few others. Some of these produced films, some of them did not. Some of them came up in other ways. Now, Vance Major Owen, who you know from the CONSTAR films, was deeply entrenched with Starbase Studios and was creating promotions in order to promote the studio and the films. Vance helped put on several conventions there. I think it was called Promenamicon. I'm sure I'm butchering that. I'm sorry. I made the trip to Oklahoma several times from St. Louis just to see the sets and for a chance to join in this great adventure that was going on. Unfortunately, it looked like I had missed my window, at least for that first wave. Star Trek Melbourne had already been cast. The Valiant was looking for people. The Republic were looking for people. Unbeknownst to me, at some point, the Melbourne had lost their captain. He no longer was available for the shoot, and he had to be replaced. Lucky for me, Michael Sylvester was on hand, and he was cast as Admiral Vanden Boss. And especially lucky for me, he knew all the lines. And he impressed Vance so much that Vance took him on as the new captain of the Melbourne, which left open a spot for another Admiral Vanden Boss. So the search was on. As it turns out, I made some small contact with Vance along the way about getting some pictures for use that were taken at Promenadicon, and Vance graciously obliged. And then he took another look at the picture and he thought, maybe this guy could be an admiral. And that's how it all started. They checked me out online, saw some stuff acting stuff that I've done. They offered me the part of Admiral Vanderboss. Now the shoot was an exciting time. I think we shot 2 days, maybe not. It was 1 or 2 days, and I was treated very well. I was readily accepted into the group, and I'm forever thankful for that. Made some quick and fast friends there. Met Michael Sylvester, Vance, and Jeremy. I was treated very well. There was a lot of enthusiasm for the project. The Andorian was all blued up. Michael Sylvester was taking a lot of photographs. That was one of his professions. He was also a producer on the film, and he was running around trying to get things done. Vance, of course, was also another producer on the movie. Jeremy Bernard was the director. He was a lot of fun. Now, Starship Melbourne was different from other ships. That was by design. These folks had faults. They had greatness within them, but they all had common problems that we would all have. The ship itself was a hybrid. They were going for a time in between Kirk and the motion picture. And the ship was of a new design, and it stood out as something different. Top of the line for that time. The film had a rock and roll theme and used music not traditional to Star Trek up to that point. It was really pretty exciting. Captain Nathan Cooper was not James T. Kirk. He certainly wasn't Picard. Turns out he was a bit arrogant. Got his crew into some trouble. But he had a good heart. It's too bad that, unfortunately, the Starship Melbourne series did not continue. He was able to do another STORMFRONT Part 2, which was a continuation of the story. But then, unfortunately, many of the plot points were carried on in the CONSTAR Chronicles, and CONSTAR continues. Michael Sylvester was involved in many things. He was the official photographer for Star Trek Renegades when it was Star Trek Renegades. Michael was heavily involved in fandom. He had very many interests. He specialized in taking pictures at conventions and being the official photographer for different conventions in Huntsville, Alabama. Now, many of you are aware that Michael had a show here on No Budget Productions and Philip Ferret Productions, and it was called Geek Intel. It was a really fun show. Never knew what he was going to do. He did a lot of unboxing shows, and he did a show, a restaurant review, which was very nice at a very popular theme place in Huntsville. And I always found him to be lots of fun, high energy. And I suggest that you go check out Geek Intel. I'll try to leave a link below this. If that doesn't work, you should be able to find it on the channel Geek Intel. I'm going to end up here with a clip of my scene with Michael Sylvester in Stormfront. For me, it was a little different than what you'll see. We're not in the same scene, but we are in the same scene. And I, of course, have two memories. Initially, Michael was in my scene, answering to me off camera, playing his lines as well as he could and as good as he could, and I appreciated that very much. In a special designed office for Admiral Vandenbos that was built just for that purpose. We then at some point did the scene on the bridge with Michael in the captain's chair, and I answered him in that. So then through the magic of motion pictures, I was put on the view screen. So because of that beginning and many fan films later, I've been lucky enough to continue doing this, and a lot of that I owe to Michael Sylvester, who also went on to make other appearances in other films, and I urge you to search those out. Thank you for joining me here on Sci-Fi History, changing times and time. I hope you see me here next week.
Report.
Sir, the plasma trail is fading fast.
Com, get me the Admiral.
Aye, sir.
Captain Cooper, isn't it?
Yes. I was looking for Admiral Parker.
She was transferred to another sector this afternoon. How can I help you, Captain?
Well, sir, Admiral Parker has sent us out to find out what happened to the Carson. Unfortunately, at the time we reached her, the entire crew was dead.
I see. That is unfortunate. I'm sending out a ship to bring her back to space dock. You can return and resume your trial.
There was a crate missing from the cargo bay, and the contents was not listed at all.
Sounds top secret. I don't even have it listed. Captain, that cargo may be dangerous. I don't know what was in it, but I know that I do not want the people who stole it to have it.
Understand, sir. We will find them and the crate. Fedor, set a course to follow.
Light in, ready to go to work.
Warp 8, engage.
Engaging.